A Hairier Problem, Rise of the Furball, by Blue Bastard. Chapter 9. Behold, behold, the Princess Twilight. Randy was pleased at what she considered a success in helping Raspberry Barrel loosen up a little, without for Sandalwood and Fluttershy. The plan had been to put Raspberry in aromatherapy with Sandalwood, doing everything in her power to help the poor mare find some way to relax around other ponies, while Heliodor would be tended to by the Pegasus. Fluttershy practically exploded with happiness at the prospect of being able to spend time caring for a phoenix without worrying about getting banished, and locked in a dungeon she was banished to, or the phoenix deciding to cause trouble by pretending to be in seriously poor health when in the middle of a reincarnation cycle. Raz, who seemed both relieved and shocked towards hearing about Rarity treating her to something so out of the gem peddler's budget, seemed to go along with the arrangements. After consulting with her pet, and even then, only if Rarity would be there, since Heliodor would be in Fireshide's care during the aromatherapy. That raised so many questions in the Fashionistas' mind about Raz's insecurities. After all, she had never seen around town without her pet. Thanks to Sandalwood's skills, hoof movements, and mastery of aromatherapy, Raz soon managed to become comfortable enough with her surroundings, and she ended up revealing some of her past, which answered a lot of Rarity's unspoken questions. Burgundy Unicorn had been born on a small farm in a small town outside of Salt Lake City, a place called Lonesome Dove, and it was the only horned pony community of our pony farmers. Due to her mother dying in childbirth, the only family she had was her father. The only permanent home she had was the old family farm. It had been a rough life, since the soil was poor quality for growing food due to the natural gem deposits getting in the way of seeds trying to plant roots, earning it the disparaging nickname of Gem Farm. The gems were always of such low quality that even selling large numbers of them barely brought in enough revenue to feed two ponies. But from birth, she had been unlucky in her earlier years, since as a unicorn, she was not gifted with the endurance and strength needed to work the farm, and her father always regarded her with distaste because she was his only child and not a strong stallion. It had been even worse when she was around 16-year-old, as by then her magic developed fully enough to reveal her special talent was in fact finding gems, which her father regarded as more reason to treat his child poorly for her shortcomings that were by no means her fault. A few months later, the unicorn simply left Lonesome Dove with only a few bits to her name, refusing to go into detail about what had influenced her decision. Rarity suspected the relationship between her and her father had become so bad that he simply disowned her and kicked her off the farm to fend for herself. Rarity simply made a mental note she ever had kids. There would be no circumstances where she disowned them simply because she didn't meet predetermined expectations through no fault of their own. But to Rarity's surprise, Raspberry continued to be vague about her more recent history, only saying that she wandered from town to town to sell her gems. But even after a few years, she never got back to her town she had left. She refused to be more elaborate on any of those details, only stating she didn't turn tricks. It was during a trip to a new town she encountered Heliodor. He had still been an egg when Diamond Dogs had stolen him, thinking he was a unique gem, proceeding to try and kill him when he hatched. How Raspberry managed to stop Diamond Dogs from killing a newborn phoenix chick she didn't say, though Rarity had several ideas stemming from her own time as prisoner of the Diamond Dogs. The fake-like story of Raspberry Barrel ended when the mayor simply merely said she finally ended up in Ponyville, like sheer chance a few months ago, claiming she stayed at a hotel on the outskirts of town, flatly refusing Rarity's offer at the new guest bedroom at the Carousel Boutique. The conversation had then broken out to talk about Rarity's adventures, brought on for the mention about her having been kidnapped by the crystal-loving canines. Overall, while Raspberry was still clearly more comfortable when her loyal bird was at her side, as evidenced by the change in how she carried herself upon Fluttershy returning Heliodor to his mistress at the end of her aromatherapy session, she managed to open up to Rarity and Sandalwood enough to particularly talk about what sounded like a horrible childhood, gave Rarity hope that Raz could overcome her insecurities, so talking with other ponies at length without the oppressive shadow of her past interfering. However, those thoughts quickly went away as Rarity, now galloping at a fair sprint, raced to an open spot in the pass within Ponyville's center in order to meet the next pony who needed her attention. Taking a few moments to fix her appearance, as he stood poised and ready to receive her charge. Almost on cue, Royal Guard Pigside descended with a golden chariot behind him, having brought Princess Twilight and the ever-faithful Spike back into the town that they loved so much. "Frick buck, your majesty!" dramatically bowed Rarity, mixing formality with friendly teasing, before adding with a wink, "On you too, Spike." "Well, thank you, Rarity," replied Spike, whose clearly once again infatuated with Rarity. While she talked to Twilight at length about the matter, Rarity still didn't know if Spike genuinely thought she was beautiful, or if it was just the triplet of diamonds that she had as a cutie mark he found appealing. While the fact that Raspberry Bell also had gems for a cutie mark that could possibly be used to explore his cutie mark of gems that Spike liked, the last thing the mayor needed was a baby dragon thinking her flight looked delicious enough to eat. Rarity was not going to ruin her progress with Barrel to answer her question about what could merely be a childhood crush. Twilight, meanwhile, just moved to embrace her friend. "I know I visited you not too long ago, but that wasn't the official start of your allowed visit, was it?" interrupted Rarity with a smile. "Besides, I can't have you all to myself. What good is it to say I'm the better of generosity when I can't even let one of my friends be able to spend time with any other pony than me?" Twilight chuckled. "Well, since you're the only pony here to meet me, I can only guess that the others are over at Golden Oaks, lying in wait to surprise me along with the rest of the town, just like when I first came here." "Actually," Rarity replied with a more serious face, "you're not." Twilight, who had been expecting some dramatic showing from Rarity to dodge the question, was taken off guard by the blunt response, the surprise exited by her wings flaring up involuntarily. "You're not?" Rarity shook her head sadly. "But you're not. Everybody else had plans for today, and something other than that." "Huh. Other than take part in a Pinkie Pie welcome back party?" "Right. She's off visiting her family on Rock Farm." Rarity's words weren't adding up, Twilight instantly realized. "No. You know just as much as I do that Pinkie wouldn't put off a party for me just because of an emergency family visit. She thinks he could to make sure there would be a party for me even if she couldn't be there. For Pinkie to not be able to be anywhere at any time, she chooses a scientific impossibility." While there was no hard science that actually proved Pinkie could instantly be anywhere she chose to be at any given moment, regardless of the distance between points A and B, any attempt to understand had ended with nothing but some pony's mane catching on fire. Usually, Prince Blueblood's reasons even Discord would admit were beyond his understanding, while he cooked marshmallows on sticks with the inferno on top of the screaming prince. Rarity remained grim. "I'm afraid that's the truth, Your Highness." "No, that doesn't make any sense. The whole reason you're the only pony I've seen since arriving is because everybody else isn't over at Golden Oaks waiting to surprise me. It's the only logical answer." Lavender Alicorn was soon happily proven wrong, as she realized he had not been paying attention to where Rarity was leading her. They were, in fact, now in Ponyville's main square near a fountain, where there were suspiciously large numbers of boxes piled everywhere, only coming to notice of the Alicorn a split second before everybody in town jumped up from behind him, or inside buildings where he had not been visible, or other hiding places Twilight hadn't noticed, because he was too focused on Rarity. However, hearing the entire town shout, "Welcome home, Princess," with a certain pink pony pouncing in with a baby blue can firing confetti, and streamers on everything in sight, the youngest Alicorn couldn't help but shed a tear. Ponyville missed her just as much as she missed it. Meanwhile, at the same time, Raspberry Barrel and Hellador watched the spontaneous eruption of pure, concentrated party that exploded at the heart of Ponyville. Two of them were sighted, Tiki and the sight, and he thought that Tiki and the festivities were drowned out by their self-reminders of why they couldn't risk it. One wrong move in the presence of Twilight Sparkle would be a certain death sentence. Even the princess was reportedly as book as nerd as he had been prior to her ascension. Turning aside away for celebrations, the pony and her pet turned and trotted away for home. It had been a few days since Twilight Sparkle's return, meaning the excitement that had been felt through the entire town finally died down. It was cheerily appreciated, since most of her class had taken up the feeling and had been unruly as usual due to the school board refusing to make the princess's return a school holiday. Now that things were returning to normal, actually trying to teach the class was now possible again. Additionally, while it had been extremely concerning about how the hostility between Apple Bloom and Diamond Tiara reached a head some time ago, following Diamond Tiara's nightmare, the relation between the two became far more passive, and much of the drama they had cast became a thing of the past. Tiara, however, had a far different opinion. For whatever reason, may it be Apple Bloom's upstaging her, or the appearance of a monster first had the same feeling that one night burned into her memory. Diamond intended to get back at the filly who she blamed for all the recent trouble, and had been fortunate Silver Spoon had been so beneficial in that regard. True, Spoon's skill level as a silversmith had been lacking enough to make something meant to be worn comfortably. But after a few days of instruction by her father, Silver Hammer, Diamond's friend had arrived at school wearing a pair of matching Best Friend Forever bracelets. They were mostly made of pure silver. If there's any truth to the idea Apple Bloom was now of supernatural standing, a simple accidental moment of contact with either bracelet will yield immediate results. "Do you think this will work?" asked Silver Spoon as he walked alongside a pink-coated friend to the seats. "Well, this is merely to answer whether or not the annoying filly is truly a monster. Even if she isn't, I must say these are excellently crafted." Spoon blushed. "Well, Dad sort of helped make them, since I still can't get a perfectly smooth interior curve on things like bracelets." "He doesn't know, does he?" "What? Oh no, of course not. I honestly was thinking about making these even without the influence of getting back at Apple Bloom, since these are better than those stupid caged and the other two that Grib wear. Wouldn't you agree?" "Oh yes, definitely. So much higher in quality." For the rest of the day, neither Diamond or Silver mentioned the silver bands, although Tiara was annoyed at how no pony even seemed to notice her new piece of bling. At the same time, as a relief, Applebloom didn't see the bracelets either, meaning she'd never see it coming. It was now recess time. Nothing to stop Diamond from putting on Silver on Applebloom's blank flank. Diamond," asked Silver, walking up to the side of her friend, "this occurs to me, if you're right, that Applebloom is that thing you think she is, and I'm putting that silver on her will make her feel severe burning sensation. Is there a chance she'll just get angry and attack us, which at best will kill us, at worst turning us into the thing she is?" Diamond's eyes briefly shrank in realization that Silver was right, but the need to vindicate herself and punish Applebloom for crimes either real or imagined overrode her illogical thinking. "Even if we do pay the ultimate price for this, if she truly is a monster as I suspect, it's our duty as citizens of Ponyville to expose the beast that threatens every pony." Before Silver Spoon could say any more, Diamond Tiara trotted off towards her quarry. It's only too easy to make physical contact between the bracelet and Applebloom's hind leg in a way that didn't look intentional. "Yeah!" hollered Applebloom, stumbling away from Tiara and trying to explode his leg back. "Cold, cold, 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 cold!" Diamond had already continued on her way to keep up the illusion it had been an accident. And besides, he was confused as to the reaction. Touching her opposite hoof to the bracelet, she did find it was somewhat cold, as he was expecting for something made out of metal, but it was supposed to have burned Applebloom, not giving her the chills. Keeping up the facade of not knowing anything about what had happened to Applebloom, Pink Filly returned to Silver Spoon with intentions to think of some other way to prove the bow-wearing pony was a monster. Meanwhile, over among the CMC, "Applebloom, are you okay?" asked Sleebell asked. "Yeah, but I don't know what just happened," replied the werewolf. "From what you were yelling about, you barely came in contact with something cold." "I know what I said, but I don't remember feeling a stinging sensation after touching a metal pole in the middle of winter." School's expression went from curiosity to worry. You sure it isn't a burn? There is such a detect burning and freezing on the body you're seeing, but if they're stinging, then it implies the former." Sleek gave School an indignant look. "You say I'm the dictionary?" "Again, when your parents have to deal with weather teams that don't provide enough cloud cover to contact the heat from the sun, or it makes no clouds too cold, you pick up on these kind of things." Get back to Pegasus, trying to look at where Applebloom was indicating he had been affected. "Yep, it's extremely minor, not even to the first degree. But if it's still singing, then that's a burn." "I don't understand. There wasn't anything near me when I suddenly felt what it was on my leg." Confused Applebloom. "Well, actually, Diamond Tiara walked right past you," pointed out Sweetie. "I thought I saw her brush that dumb friendship bracelet she got from Silver Spoon on your leg. But it happened so fast, I can't be sure." "Do you like Silver made that bracelet out of silver? Back when it was, well, what I am now, I remember Big Mac saying something about how she should never be around silverware that was actually silver. Wait, interrupted Scoot. How did Big Macintosh know that? Don't tell me he was aware. Shh, established. Oh, right, sorry. Apologized the flustered feathered member of the CMC. Answer the question, Lee Wilson. Let me knew about werewolves from some other thing I'm not aware of. But trust me, when I say if he has a big problem as I do, the entire town would know. It's hard enough trying to keep this under wraps from my own family as it is. Applewood's eyes slowly got wide. She remembered her family was about to become an even bigger problem. Is everything okay, Applebloom? Asked Scoots. You know how you two are the only ones who know my Hairier secret, but my own family doesn't? Unicorn Pegasus nodded. And how we all agreed that anytime there was anything being kept as a top super duper classified don't tell anybody secret, all members of the Cutie Crusaders will be laid in on the secret? The duo nodded again. What happens when somebody who under that rule has to be informed of a secret, but is also part of my family? The non-Earth Phillies expressed confusion, with Slee speaking up. But you're the youngest of the Apple family siblings, aren't you? I don't remember you missing somebody in your family who was your younger sister. Not my sister, Slee, my cousin. Bam's gonna be on the 515 Mayhem Mustang train when it makes the Funville stop next Saturday. And as far as I know, this time she's staying until housewarming. Raspberry Barrel sighed as he lay back in her bed in her hotel room. Heliodor following suit as he sat at the bar tested together. Normally, otherwise, I'd use bed in a double. It wasn't the greatest accommodations in a hotel, nor was it the best hotel in Ponyville. The Traveler's Retreat was, admittedly, well past its prime, even though the clientele had never really differed much from being mostly individuals that were passing through Ponyville, being more of a bed and breakfast rest stop than a true hotel. The fact that the old couple who kept the place running never conceived of a pony staying longer than a week, much less over 3 months, was a testament to that. But Raspberry was grateful to them for allowing her to essentially take up residence there. She got the idea of living long-term in a hotel from a pony she briefly talked with years ago, shortly after being forced to fend for herself and leave Lonesome Dumb. The pony, a member of a traveling acting group who was named Rough Dads, had generously paid for her to stay at the roadhouse she had ended up at the end of the first night. She'd taken an interest in him when she instantly heard some of his troop members call him the Crownless King, although what interested her proved to be absent upon him explaining the reference to his usual role as the hero character in the performances. He had been invaluable that first night providing advice as he followed up to the present for the living the life of a wanderer. She wondered what would happen as he revealed everything to him that night. If he would have helped her, if she would totally forward about the matter, instead of lying about the circumstances to why she had to flee Lonesome Dove. She also wondered where he had been ever since, and she'd never see him again after that one night, despite having considered them the close, trustworthy friends he ever get. Well, until Heliodor came into her life, providing comfort in a way no amount of bits could provide. But where bits could provide comfort, she was living in excess at the retreat as far as she cared. The rates were extremely low, probably because the owners took pity on her, didn't charge as much, even though Raz continuously protested that out of guilt. Still, having lived most of her life on the road, being able to come back to her room that had a soft bed to sleep in, working bathroom with actual soap that made it so much easier to keep her body clean, and getting a hot meal every morning, her current living situations were better than anything a room in Castle Carolot could have given her. Of course, that spare bedroom at Carousel Boutique probably would have been the same, main difference being Rarity not charging Raz a single penny to stay, and Raz would have loved to have taken up the offer to move into a home that wasn't broken prior to her taking residence in it. Only two reasons stopping her were that it wouldn't be more than a week before Heliodor tried to devise elaborate ways to kill Rarity's cat Opal that involved excessive amounts of fire, since it was bad enough trying to stop the two from killing each other when Raz and her pet visited Rarity's abode. And the significantly more important reason was the horrible truth that had stalked Raz all her life before she had even been born. The reason the most comfortable places she ever known were hotel rooms instead of actual houses, and why she left so many towns in her wake. Austin thought it was Heliodor's squawking that brought Raspberry back to reality, to be aware of the knocking on the door. Getting out the bed, he walked over to open it. Found a Pegasus guard for the local guard detachment on the other side. Miss Raspberry Barrel, I presume? He appealed slightly.
Yes, that's me.
The guard pulled out a scroll from his saddlebag and handed it to Raz. I was instructed to make sure that this was delivered straight to you.
Oh, well, thanks.
You're welcome, ma'am, and good evening. The guard turned and leaves the hotel. Barrel made sure he was not in the hallway before closing the door, letting her face drain of blood. Looking at the wax seal that would roll his apartment, she realized in a second what it was. Taking the scroll in her telekinesis, she opened it to read the contents. For the office of Her Serene Highness Twilight Sparkle, Guardian of the Elements of Harmony, Princess of Friendship, Protégée of Princess Celestia. It has come to Her Highness's attention that you are currently possessing of an avian of unusual pigmentation, namely a phoenix of green coloration. Since Her Highness has returned to Ponyville, numerous subjects have brought her to attention via personal audiences and visits to the issue. One such audience was Lady Rarity, a member of Her Highness's royal court, and a personal confidant of the princess. While we are on Her Highness's staff, believe that the intent is to arrange a personal meeting between yourself, Her Highness, and Lady Rarity. Unfortunately, Her Highness's schedule does not permit a time frame which this can be accommodated in a reasonable manner. The question becomes, why could Her Highness just rearrange the schedule herself? I mean, she can do that. She is smart, but we're ignoring the big problems. Thus, it has been decided that you are to be summoned to Her Highness's current seat, temporarily located at the Golden Oaks Library, on this coming Saturday, promptly at 5:15. You're also detailed to pet along as well, as Her Highness would likely desire extensive study on such a creature. Cordially, Apple Cobbler, Crown Secretary for Her Royal Highness, Princess Twilight Sparkle. P.S. Was this even really necessary? Why can't Twilight just go and do it? I mean, again, Princess! Princess! She can choose to do this! I swear to God, you guys are making me want to write a specific chapter in one of my fics where Twilight does something and in her current queen mode and says, who are you guys to tell me what I can or can't do? I'm going to do it. Watch my flank as I do this. See ya. She wants to what? Whimpered Raspberry. The one pony in all of Equestria who Raspberry wanted to stay the farthest away from had literally summoned her up to come to a private meeting in Sarah Town. It had been bad enough to simply be in the same town as the princess, but being in the same room as her? Raz knew she would have to go, since any normal pony wouldn't hesitate to obey a summons for the princess. But as the burgundy unicorn looked worriedly at Heliodor, it'd be an honor neither would want. I also think it would be a little bit more funny if Twilight did do this on her own. Just, Raspberry hears the knock on the door. Opens it. Princess Twilight stands. Hi! Ah! Slam!
Hello.
The master clock inside the Ritz household chimed 11 p.m. as Diamond Tiara pounded in her room. She got nowhere fast with the silver bracelets plan as she stared at the one her friend had given her. Now sitting on the bedside counter next to her wire, she tried to reason why her plan failed.
There had to be a reaction. Nothing was cold when I touched it, but the way Apple Bloom reacted, it was like I touched it with an ice cube.
Muttered Tiara to herself.
At the same time, if she was a werewolf or whatever, she should have been burned by that silver. The test was negative on those grounds, but I still need more proof. Maybe I'll figure out how to get some wolfsbane or something playing all around school.
Sudden feminine laughter, reverberating with some kind of natural aftertone, stopped Tiara's self-conversation, made her fearful as the night Apple Bloom appeared at the bedroom window.
Who's there?
Cried out Tiara, shielding herself with one of her stuffed animals. She made sure it was the big blue one. It was just a giant blob with no limbs. The one that said, imaginary friends forever. She would squeeze, she did so now.
Some pony who has goals that are currently in line with yours, my dear.
The voice answered back.
How do you know what I want? What do you want with me?
You don't need to yell. After all, it's not like your father or any of the employed staff here going to believe a disembodied voice is talking to you. Now after seeing her at your window. Unless you're aiming to be put in an insane asylum.
Okay, fine.
Tiara said, no longer shouting, but having changed her conversational tone.
But just approaching you, you aren't another figment of my imagination. I want you to show yourself so I can at least see who I'm talking to.
A fair request. The voice replied, and before the shape of a mare materialized at the foot of Tiara's bed. From what Diamond could tell, it was the translucent form of a green mare, with a mane-tailed coloration of yellow and sky blue, complemented with pink eyes and the cueing mark of two mountain peaks bordering a rainbow. Well, the fact that the mare looked equine was exactly the same ways like Apple Bloom had on that stormy night spoke volumes. The parts that looked more keen-eyed than Pony. This was a werewolf, although the translucence made it clear that this was just a ghost, and therefore probably couldn't harm Tiara, that being the only real reason the living Billy did scare Tiara. It didn't help, however, that this ghost looked suspiciously a lot like somewhat older Applejack, only with a mane style closer to Rainbow Dash, prompting another dull squeeze, imaginary friends forever being echoed in the room. Yes, I know I'm not exactly better than your other, replied the ghost almost apologetically, but I like her. I don't harm you in any way, physically or psychology.
Do you know what she is, at least?
Asked Diamond, the fear slowly subsiding. Well, you already knew it, but she is a werewolf. How she managed to be one is beyond me, as the fate of all werewolves is similar to mine. Although none of them were lucky enough to rise from the grave to avenge their deaths upon the living. Tiara raised an eyebrow at this.
Are you saying Apple Blue somehow killed you?
The apparition laughed again, being slightly disconcerted by his halting echo. No, I've been dead for over a decade. The one responsible for it is currently in a position that you would be of no help in the matter. However, the spirit's tone suddenly became once more serious. The pony that I did love, the original werewolf by the name Sable Lowe, was murdered by some idiot mentor almost a year ago.
Uh-huh. Keep going.
Diamond Tiara muttered, mostly by making a circle with her hoof and making not so subtle indication she knew everything had been said so far. Apologies for having been dead for so long. Most of this information is new to me, the ghost chided. Anyway, apparently the older sister of this Apple Bloom you seek to do will against was involved in its death somehow, and I wish to punish her for it through bringing harm to her sister. Furthermore, Apple Bloom is making a mockery of what it means to be a werewolf. We are, or at least were, actually more dangerous and threatening than just being a scary sight on the other side of a window, strong enough to withstand a hurricane.
Well, okay.
Quite frankly, Diamond Tiara was rather open to the idea that this undead werewolf ghost just happened to stumble to her room in the dead of the night and was offering to help Tiara get revenge on Apple Bloom. Silver would definitely be needed to be brought to the knowledge of this ghostly assistance. But provided her paranormal exterminator Hairier did get in the way of things, might have gotten easier.
But before I agree to anything, I do want to know your name.
But of course. The outdid mayor's voice smug undertones as he said, just call me Fair.